Good morning, traders from each and every part of the world that you're doing this series of the Daily Morning Market Call from. My name is Kefa Eric, one of the market analysts here at HFM. HFM linking you to the global markets to access various financial assets. Now, in today's video, we'll be looking at a trending topic that has been emerging in the past 24 hours, and this is related to stocks and, of course, indices. And this will be looking at the expectation of earning reports from Nvidia. And Nvidia is a tech company based in the US, which of course reflects its pricing on the charts on Nasdaq and related indices. But before we go there, I would like to remind you that this is going to be a pre-recorded YouTube video, to mean that you can access this video at your own free time on YouTube by searching HFM Kenya. Like, subscribe, click on the notification button, and share widely so that it reaches more people. And it is our commitment to you that we shall be improving on our content from time to time to make it even much more better. Now, with that out of the way, we begin with fundamental analysis before we go to look at the effects of that Nvidia may have on US 100 or the Nasdaq, if you may like, and also S&P 500. And before we dive into that, we take to look at fundamental analysis, which we have previously defined on this series of the Daily Morning Market Call as forces, geopolitical and economic forces which drives the market. Now, today being on Wednesday, which is the 27th of, being on Thursday, beg your pardon, which is the 27th of February, we see that we are having a gross domestic product for Q4 of the United States coming out, quite an important high impact news, with the expectation to being at 2.3% with the previous at 2.3%. So they expect a steady growth, or the domestic report for Q4 to be the same as the previous. That's the expectation of economic pundits. In the instance it comes out lower, this might affect the strength of the United States dollar, because it might be indicating that the general health of the United States is not something to hold on to. As we move on to tomorrow, on Friday, we see CPI exemption of food from Tokyo data coming out. We also see CPI year-on-year data coming out. Of late, the Japanese yen has been quite the most performing currency, context defined, of course, compared to her peers, which are majorly seen in the major pairs. As we move on to the onto Friday, we see quite high impact news with core personal consumption expenditure from the United States. And later on the weekend, of course, the markets are going to be closed. We see economic data from China from the non-manufacturing PMI. Now, as much as we do not tend to trade the Chinese yen as a currency, at least not most of the time, at least not majority of the time, it is important to keep track of the economy of the Chinese government so as to see its reaction to economic policies or fiscal policies by what would term as competitors, because the geopolitical space, the economic space in the international arena is quite competitive, in fact throat-cutting competition. So if the Chinese stocks are doing good, the Chinese economy is doing good based on the performance or indication of economic data from China, this would be a good indication. But if they're performing bad, it will be a bad indication. Of course, this will affect Asian stocks and by large also United States stocks by extension. And just to reflect a little bit on this, Today we have just had Nvidia reports coming out. We have been monitoring them for the last 24 hours, seeing expectations how they will come. And Nvidia is a tech company. Now, tech company, when you hear about technology, we speak about chips. Chips are made to create sophisticated machineries, and Nvidia is a lead company in production of the same. Of course, using her partners, which are found across the world, and among the partners, this could be Chinese chips. So, in the event the Donald Trump's tariff, 25% tariff on Chinese uh, imports, is implemented long term, this is of course going to have an impact on the earning reports on Nvidia and of course affect the US 100. If the opposite, if there is a revision of this or possibly an abolition, which is quite unlikely, of course it's going to have a positive impact on Nvidia. But among the various workings of Nvidia, which also includes AI, we might possibly see a close-up margin. But to demonstrate this, let's head straight to the charts. This is US oil. Let's look at Nasdaq. Beautiful. So, as it stands at the time of this recording, that is 15 a.m. East African time, we are having to report that Nvidia reports earning, which have been released today, beat Wall Street expectations. So we see an improve of the earning. The chip giant are reporting revenue of 39.33 billion compared to estimates of 38.25 billion. So we see a slight improvement on the earning reports. This is going to have investors' confidence boosted, which we might likely see a reaction from this area of interest to the upside to try and take out the all-time high in continuation to in the bullish overall trend that was established in better part of last year and moving on to the end of Q1 in 2025. However, it is important to observe risk management while trading this particular asset, because as much as Nvidia is a leader in stocks and tech, we'll also be watching out for other earning reports. So we see if they have a contradicting nature or are they in line with Nvidia reports. The Nvidia CFO told analysts during the earning call that Blackwell's demand exceeds expectations. So we see optimism in the leadership on Nvidia, and we know that Nvidia, being a stock tech company, is quite important in giving us the earning reports of this particular asset class. And in this instance, we are looking at US 100, which are mainly tech companies. So this will have a bullish effect, and being long on this particular asset would be considered a risk off approach or less risky setups. On to another interesting asset, which is US oil. So the oil at the time of this recording is trading at $68.60 per barrel. We anticipated this move to the downside. I think we called it out from somewhere up here at 74.14, and we said this is due to the diplomatic pressure by the Donald Trump's government on oil producing countries to lower the prices of oil as a diplomatic measure to try and curb the influence of Russia in Eastern Europe war between Russia and Ukraine. Now, to give a backstory about this, slightly. The previous administration of the United States had put attempt to try and lower the prices of oil, and they do this through diplomatic approach by approaching oil producing country with much concentration or a much more higher number of visits to UAE, that is Dubai, if you may like, and they do this because that is a high producing oil country. So if they speak to them to the country which produces oil at a much higher rate than the others, they might tend to have an influence on the others. Remember, in the Asian part of the world, we have quite a number of countries producing oil, but some of them have got international sanctions, all right? But Dubai, in this case, has little sanction and is seen to be a leader in oil producing countries. So an attempt to lower the prices of oil would first begin from their country. And this is why we remember during Donald Trump's first term, his first diplomatic visit was in Dubai. Now he's back in office, and he's yet to make a diplomatic visit. We see other heads of states visiting him, but he's yet to make a diplomatic visit to a foreign state. But there were indications he would possibly get to Dubai, particularly to try and renegotiate for the prices of oil to go down, and they are doing this as an attempt to lower the military power of Russia. Now, Russia also produces oil in quite huge amounts, but Russia has the highest number of sanctions in the world, but they still have a standing economy because they are able to produce revenue from the oil they produce. Now, if the prices of oil in the world is reduced, then they will earn less and have less money or resources to continue fighting the war in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine, and there is also fears among East Europe that if Russia conquers Ukraine, it will possibly also try to expand to other territories that she claims were part of her. So that is before the Second World War. So this is causing the prices of oil to go down. It's quite exciting to see how fundamental analysis and technical analysis could merge. So we said we would like to see it come and attempt the 67.31 area of interest, and this will have fully achieved at least the medium and long-term aspect of the fundamental analysis that we indicated from way up here. What other asset? Nice. They just concluded German election, and this is in reference to this asset with the German 40, which is 40 companies in German, or the DAX 40, if you may like, which was previously DAX 30, but got revised to DAX 40. These companies, a basket of companies in Germany, have been quite performing well. And before the election on 20, that's on previously on this previous Sunday, which was on, just to check my calendar, on 23rd of February 2025, we speculated that the results would affect DAX 40 or German 40 and also the euro. And we said in this way, in the instance we have a coalition of parties capturing power, like we have seen right now, that is perceived by investors and traders to be of benefit to the nature of business, affecting these particular companies, which are 40 in number, we would see the price continuing to be in a long structure, or if you may like, a bullish trend. Now, we see a shift in power where we see the former chancellor seemingly attempting to have negotiation to be a junior partner in the in the coalition government being formed right now in Germany. But we see it's evident that there's going to be a new chancellor, and the expectations would be, if taxes regulations and taxes are lowered for German companies, we would possibly see earning reports increasing, of course, because of increase of market cap, favorable trading conditions. And in case we see a much more conservative approach by the new administration, which would tend to increase taxes in an attempt to increase government revenue, and which would lead to more regulations, we might possibly see the DAX trickling down. And the best thing to do for this, I think, is just wait and observe the effects of the same. Nice. Now, if this is your first time to interact with the financial markets, kindly get to your mentor or the one who has led you to this chat box, and they will guide you through the process of account registration so that you start growing in your interest to be an investor in the financial markets. Or alternatively, visit hfm.com, attempt to register for an account, and you'll fill in your details, and our experts will get in touch with you to help you through the account registration process, and for you to get started as an investor or trader. As a disclaimer, this by any chance is not financial advice. This is purely meant for educational purposes, and it's important to observe risk management so that to ensure longevity in the financial markets for attempts to make future possible profits. And until tomorrow, the same place, the same time, to do things the same way that has proven consistently profitable. See you guys, and God bless.